All right. Hello, everyone. If you're watching this, we are talking about exploring the edges of the earth with the amazing partners at Lindblad. My name is Sally Smith. For those of you that don't know me, I am the owner and founder of Truewander. We are a travel design company that curate trips all around the world and partner with incredible suppliers like Lindblad to help bring your travel dreams to life. I am joined today by expedition cruise expert Mallory Hayes. Mallory is new with Lindblad as of this January, but certainly not new to the industry, having a master's from UNLV in hospitality and working for Princess Cruises and the amazing Adair Manor in Ireland, if you haven't been there. And I'm really excited that she's able to join today. And we're going to talk through the Lindblad experience and what it's like and what's unique and different about expedition cruising and why it's so special. So, Mallory, I'd love you just to do a quick little intro and then we'll dive into the good stuff.
Great. Thanks so much, Sally. Yeah, my name is Mallory Hayes. I'm the Regional Sales Director of the Northwest, hailing from the Seattle area for Lindblad Expeditions. Been here since about January. So happy to talk to you about expedition travel and show you what's a little bit different with us. So yeah, really happy to be here and would love to get you guys on board.
Okay, perfect. And it's great because we've had several Truewander clients experience Lindblad firsthand. And everyone has come back just raving about the experience. So that's why I wanted to have this webinar today. So we did our little intros there. Oh, and we've got some recent pictures. I think you're just back from the Galapagos, correct?
Yes, I took the Endeavour 2 through the Galapagos Islands not too long ago, just about a month ago. It was an amazing experience. I got to see so many different types of birds, so many different types of animals. And I know it's silly, but it really felt like I was walking through a scene in Snow White. There were animals everywhere. Not one of them was bothered that you were there or afraid of you. I felt like if I did this, of Darwin Finch would have came and landed on my finger. They were everywhere and so beautiful and so happy. As you can see, I'm there. I just got done snorkeling and seeing all these amazing fish and sea turtles. But there was not a whole not what's the word, not a colony, but a lot of sea lions were on the beach lounging just like that, and they had no idea that we were there. They were just so happy. And I got to take that wonderful photo with them. So it was a lot of fun.
It's also the color of the water behind you is very striking.
Oh, the picture does not do it justice. It was so bright and so warm. And that's something that was kind of interesting about the Galapagos because they're on the equator, the islands are on the equator, but they have two different times of year that you well, yeah, they chop up the year in two different parts, which is the warm season or the wet season and the dry season. And I was able to go during the wet season, which means the water is a little bit warmer. You can snorkel year round, of course, but the water was a little bit warmer. And Lindblad, of course, if it is colder, we do supply everybody with wetsuits. So that's something that you can get on board very easily.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Well, let's pop in to what is all about, what is this luxury expedition cruise all about? So you all have been the leaders in expedition cruising for quite some time. And you also have the National Geographic Partnership, which is something that I know is really meaningful for you. So maybe just walk us through what makes you unique and how long you've been doing it. And then we'll talk about some of the day in the life and the destinations you travel to.
Certainly. So something that kind of sets us apart from many of our competitors is our history when it comes to tourism and ecotourism in some of these remote areas. You can see from the photo there, we have our founder, Lars Ark Lindblad, who was the first person to take private citizens to the Galapagos and to Antarctica back in 1966 and 1967. And since then, we've had these really strong relationships and really strong partnerships with these communities. So we're very, very proud of that. We like to bring that education aspect to everywhere we go. So we have the leaders of the industry guiding us through these areas, through these national parks. As you can see from that photo there, that photo is actually on the right side. That's from 1970. That's one of the private groups we took out to the Galapagos. So we're again, quite proud of that. But we have these amazing, unique experiences that are led by our expedition specialists to bring a different level of education to guests who want a little bit more out of their experience with us or travels.
I love it. Not many people can say they've been doing that for this long. And obviously you get really good at doing it when you do it that long. Um, so let's talk about a day in the life. So I know for Truewander clients, once you select the Lindblad destination, ship, and once you get that all booked, it's really seamless because there's not too much you have to do beforehand besides getting excited and packing the right things. Everything's really handled on the ship. So kind of talk through what a typical day might look like. And of course, it might be different whether you're in the Galapagos or you're in Alaska or you're off the coast of Australia. But in general, what can clients expect?
Of course. So how we see it is that we believe how the clients, how the travelers experience our product really does matter. And that's why our ships will never go above 150 passengers on board. So we are all about that small experience, having community on board, and not having huge groups attend some of these remote areas, just because we believe it kind of affects how the guests see it, how the guests see it on board, and how they experience these beautiful places off. But so not about 150 passengers. All of the excursions that we offer are inclusive of the fare. So that means all of the Zodiac tours, all the guided tours, entry to the national parks. All of that's going to be included of the fare. And we believe that there's something for everybody, both on and off ship. But speaking of that, so a typical day for a Lindblad guest would be a wake-up call at some time in the morning. So sometimes that can be a little bit earlier depending on the day and what's to expect for that day, but we'll have breakfast, and that breakfast will typically be a buffet with which also offers a made to order omelet station using local fruits and vegetables from the destination that we're at. So we're very, very proud of that and sustaining those local communities. Right after breakfast, shortly after breakfast, we'll have our first activity, which could be a guided Zodiac tour. It could be a hike. It could be a trip to the visitor center of the location that we're at. A lot of the time they'll have a variety of things. So usually one or two, maybe three different things that the guests can decide on, whether that be a strenuous hike up the mountain, a casual beach walk, a snorkel session, paddle boarding, kayak tours, something like that the guests can choose from. After that, all groups will return back to the ship for lunch, where they'll have a nice plated lunch. Then comes shortly after that is the second activity. So could be another hike. It could be a photography tour. It could be a stand-up paddleboard. It could be an array of different options that the guests can choose from, or they can just, maybe they got up really early and they want to enjoy the ship or enjoy their room or have a quick little nap. It really is a choose your own adventure when it comes to the excursions that are offered. But something to mention about that is that all of the excursions will be guided. So there'll be somebody with the guests throughout the entire day to make sure that all of their questions are answered, that they have that they're being cared for and watched throughout the time. So that's the afternoon. We'll have a second activity, sometimes a third, depending on the date. And then when everyone comes back, gets a quick shower, gets a quick break. And then they'll go to the lounge area, or what we like to call the Circle of Truth, where our expedition specialists and guides will have a briefing. And the briefing will discuss the day, talk about some special things people might have seen, and then talk about what's going to happen the following day. So everyone has an idea of what to expect, when the wake-up call will be, what time breakfast is, and what to kind of expect for that particular destination. After the briefing, we'll go to dinner. And a dinner will also be a nice plated meal. And then after dinner, there'll typically be some kind of evening activity, whether that be maybe some local dancers from the area will come on board and have a presentation or have a show. Sometimes they'll show a sneak peek of a documentary. They'll have discussions, or you can always just get an early night in as well. There's no pressure. And that's what is fun about Lindblad, is that, we're very casual on board. You're going to see lots of shorts and comfortable wear. We don't have anything like formal nights or anything like that. So it's very comfortable, very casual. And it's just it's a great time to be on board and to engage with people.
I love that. I'm going to shift over here too. And the other thing, here are some more pictures, which are fun. But I think what I've also learned with expedition cruising is having the bit of flexibility, right? Because in many cases, you are in a very remote place, which is amazing because the ship size and the passenger size allows you to go places that a lot of other people and ships can't go. But you also have to be flexible with weather or kind of fun flexibility. Maybe you see wildlife or some whales or grizzly bears in Alaska, and you want to maybe follow them for a little bit, or so I think it's just good to have that flexibility in mind, but that's also what makes it really special. I mean, I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially in places like Alaska, where we have US flagged ships, which makes a difference in that region specifically because of our US flagship. We don't have to deal with any of the red tape when it comes to getting on and off the ship because all of our team members, all of our expedition specialists are American. So literally we'll see a pod of whales or a pod of dolphins. They'll say, okay, drop the Zodiac. We're going to go see what they're all about. And 15 minutes later, the Zodiac will be dropped. Everyone's getting on board and we're on our expedition. We are on our way out. So we have that flexibility. We have that ability to just get out there and truly experience the world in a different way.
I love it. Now, are we in Antarctica here in these photos?
We are. So this is amazing. So I love this photo on the left because as you can see, the ship is right next to a sheet of ice. These ships are built with a very amazing and reinforced hull where we're able to do these ice landings, especially on our newer ships, the Endurance and the Resolution, which have that patented X bow. You might have seen some photos of that. But this is amazing. So we have the ability to get on the ice, have champagne on the ice, do hikes on the ice. It's just a lot of fun.
I know I have a lot of travelers that are really big on getting to their seventh continent. So this is on a lot of people's minds for sure. And
We're
it's
a great
important too in
there.
Antarctica to know that the ship size really matters for what you're going to be able to see and experience. And so the smaller the ship, the more you can really get your landings in Antarctica, which is really important.
Exactly. Like I mentioned, our ships will never go above 150 guests on board. So we're able to spend a little bit more time getting people off the ship and staying on island, on the continent itself. So we're very proud of that.
I just love all the blue and the white. So pretty. So let's talk about expedition access. So you really have, we've already been chatting about it, just some of the unique things you have access to that you wouldn't have access to on a different style trip. So maybe you can talk through a couple of the unique things that you'll have access to. And also I wanted to mention very kid friendly as well. I know we have had multi-gen families travel together and feel really connected and have such special experiences together because of the small ship size and because the kids are engaged, the parents are engaged, the grandparents are engaged. And that's just also very unique to what you do. So would love your thoughts on some of these
Yeah.
unique experiences.
Absolutely. So with our company, we are so lucky and so proud of our partnership with National Geographic as well, which helps stem all of the family programs and tools we have on board. But just to kind of touch on the National Geographic partnership quickly, we started this partnership back in 2004. And we've recently re-upped that partnership now up until 2040. So what that means with that length of time, what that means is that we'll have all the naturalists, geologists, scientists, culturalists, all the ists are going to be on board to speak with the guests and to answer any questions and to really engage with the families on what burning questions might have erupted from our expeditions. So what that does is we have our family programs on board where all the expedition specialists are trained to engage with kids of all ages. What they'll do is they'll get a field notebook and the kids will get this field notebook. They'll be able to jot down any animals that they might see, all the flora and fauna. They do special experiments with the kids, like how glaciers are made using ice cream. They'll get taught how to use or how to drive Zodiacs, which apparently is something the adults don't get to do. So they get to come back with a little bit of bragging rights when it comes to that. But they'll go out on the Zodiacs, they'll go collect plankton, look at those things look at the plankton under a microscope, and really get a sense of or really learn without knowing that they're learning. It's just a lot of fun for kids on board. And again, we're very, very engaged with them. Some of the tools that we use for exploration, as you can kind of see from this photo, we have stand-up paddle boards, kayaks, snorkel gear in warm destinations. We have a underwater camera and microphone. So especially in Alaska, it's amazing when they bring this out, because they'll see, you'll be able to see what's going on underneath the ship, but you also get to hear what the whales are talking about or what the dolphins are saying to each other, and they'll come and they'll bring that to the circle of truth and discuss it and listen to it. And it's just amazing to have that connection with nature. But another thing I think that kind of sets us apart is we have a 24-hour open bridge policy. So what that means is the guests can come in, talk to the captain, talk to the first mate, ask them about what inlet this is, how many whales did you see today. They love to have people come in and ask them questions about how the ship works, especially for those engineering mind folks or kids that want to take a stab at looking into the mind of a captain.
I love that. I love the open bridge. That's fantastic.
Something else just to touch on too, with our partnership with National Geographic is, as you might guess, is that we really lean into photography. And with that, all of our voyages have either a National Geographic photographer on board or a certified photographer on board. So they can teach everybody how to use their cameras that they might bring on board, or even they have classes that'll teach them how to use their smartphone in a different way. So I don't know about many of you guys, but I have one of these iPhones. I have three lenses on it. I have no idea which one I had no idea which one I'm using at any given time. But going through these courses and talking to the photographer, they taught me how to play with the aperture, how to play with the sharpness, and I come back with this brand new amazing skill, being able to take photos of wildlife, of my husband, which he doesn't super love. But either way, it's a really neat thing to kind of bring back home.
That's fantastic. Well, especially where you're traveling to, you're going to want to have amazing photos because you are getting so up close and personal. And then I know we have questions too about families that are traveling together. Maybe we have some kiddos that only like certain types of food, or maybe have some special preferences, allergies, you name it. I know Lindblad is very accommodating as long as we get that information out there well in advance as part of your guest preference form. So that's been really easy for our clients.
Yep, absolutely. We definitely want to make sure everyone is full and happy and getting all of the different flavors from these areas. So as long as those forms are filled out early, and even if worst case scenario they're not, and you talk to the waiter on board, they'll make every single accommodation so that you're happy when you have your meals every day.
I love it. Perfect. And then let's quickly talk about some of the destinations. So you really go to a lot of places, and we're just highlighting a few here. But of course, Alaska, Antarctica, Arctic, Baja, Galapagos. But there's other destinations too. Any other ones that are some of your favorites or that stand out for your travelers?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we have over 600 annual departures this year. We are visiting over 70 countries, and we've just recently jumped into the Rhine River cruising for 2026, which we are so excited about and so excited for. So heading into Amsterdam in the Netherlands, just very, very, very excited for that. But so the five core geographies we have here make up over 70% of our programming, of our portfolio, which means that we feel like we do these amazingly and we do these the best. We really are into, or we really want to bring more education to some of these areas. And as our fleet expands, we're going to continue to visit these remote destinations that the larger ships just can't go. So some of our more popular or some exciting destinations that we have right now, of course, are the Galapagos, but also Iceland. That's one that we've noticed that if we are because at the moment we're sold out for Alaska for 2025, but we're noticing a shift from those that say, oh, we can't go to Alaska, but what about Iceland? Because it has similar terrain, it has beautiful environments. So that's something we've noticed a big trend in is Iceland. And Antarctica, of course, the Falklands and South Georgia Island is another large one. And then, of course, into Greenland for a little bit more culture when it comes to some of the polar regions.
I love it. And let's talk about, because you do have smaller ships and you are in different locations, let's talk about booking windows and when someone should be looking to book. Because I know I always tell Truewander clients that if you're interested in any of these itineraries, booking farther in advance is key because you do sell out very quickly. So I don't know if you have any other thoughts on when to be looking for some of these trips.
I would definitely encourage earlier the better. I know I mentioned a few times today that our ships don't go above 150 passengers, so that is already kind of a tight squeeze there when it comes to booking. So at least a year in advance, I would maybe try a year and a half to start planning or start narrowing down the itinerary. But definitely at least a year in advance. Currently, our voyages are going out and are all the way out until mid 2027. So if you're looking at summer 2027, now's the time. But definitely I'm sorry. And for the rest of 2027, we'll be releasing that in the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for those new itineraries coming through.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think you won't regret booking early, and then you can get all those details and get your flights and all those good things because these trips are really special. Um, Perfect. And then, yeah, you just chatted about some of the different things and how many departures you have. And anything else, Mallory, that we didn't touch on today that you often get asked about or that you really want any future travelers on Lindblad to know?
Just a couple of things that we probably could have mentioned today more is for inclusiveness. I know I mentioned the excursions are all inclusive, so that's something that we're very proud of. There's no rental fee for any paddle boards or kayaks. There's no waiting. All of that's inclusive, and you don't have to worry about that before you get on board. Next as well is for alcohol. We do have alcohol available, complimentary, so that's no additional fee. The only thing that you would probably pay more for there would be if you wanted a top shelf or a top bottle of wine, something like that. And then the only other thing that you'd probably pay for on board would be any spa services, because we do have spa and wellness center on board as well. So you can get a massage while you're in Antarctica, or you can get a facial when you're in Baja. There's all kinds of fun ways to also relax on board, not always just go, go, go.
Really good points. Thank you for sharing that. And then also, Truewander is a part of our wonderful luxury consortia Virtuoso, which will oftentimes get you a few extra perks on these trips as well. So definitely reach out and we can chat through specific itineraries with you as well. And yeah, please feel free to reach out. We have our contact information there. And Mallory has so much more content and videos and so many things that we can personalize for you to help you get excited or research a destination more. So just let us know. And I'm going to quickly check one other thing here before we go. Great. No other questions there. Mallory, thank you so much. This has been really helpful and informative for those of you watching live or those of you watching later. It's pretty clear Lindblad is very special and certainly a once in a lifetime, hopefully multiple times, memorable trip. And we hope to get you all out on the ships in the future.
Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much, Mallory. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.